You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney theme parks podcast, and this is show number 525 for Sunday, the 3rd of November 2024.
Where dreams begin.
Hello and welcome to this week's Disney Dream Girls. My name is Michelle Young, and together with my jolly good chum Jane Phipps, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. Hello there, Jane.
Hello there, Michelle, and how are we this fine week? Are you enjoying your week off from work?
I wish it was a 2-week off from work. I just feel like I'm booked up things every day. This is a typical teacher. If you are an educator out there, you'll understand. The first 3 days of any half term are always filled in with dentist, hairdresser, doctors, hospital, etc. appointments. So I've now got all of them behind me, apart from the hairdressers, which is tomorrow. And it's like, oh, I'm back at work on Monday. It's like I've only just begun. So, yeah.
Yeah, I remember those days well.
Yeah, bless you. As of recording, it's Halloween, 31st of October. And guess what was available as of today's date for Starbucks reward app people?
Oh, go on then. Red Cup, no?
Cheers, gingerbread latte.
Oh, we can't even get past Halloween now, can we?
I was so excited when I went in at the weekend and spoke to Karen, the manager at the local store, and she said it's starting on Thursday if you have the app, and she's secretly getting me in some gingerbread syrup as well, so I can continue having gingerbread latte all the way through till August, because gingerbread is just... I like my pumpkin spice latte, but gingerbread...
So you'll have gingerbread for like 10 months of the year and then pumpkin spice for 2.
Yeah.
You'll forget what normal coffee tastes like.
What's that?
Exactly.
I know. It's all good fun. Anyway, my love, we have got a Disney terrific podcast ahead for you. Wasn't last week's ABD review by Christine Sir amazing?
Very interesting.
I had some very interesting comments sent through on email with regards to the pricing and the variety of trips that ABD do offer. And the way I can sort of say is, if you would like to have 5-star plus treatment, that is what you are paying for. You are paying to be the 1%er. If
Absolutely,
you don't have the 1%er budget, then yes, it is an incredibly expensive way. But surely if you work hard and you want to save up and you want the taste of luxury, when you compare how much you would spend on a trip with ABD to travelling to a theme park, buying park tickets, buying your snacks, your food, I think you'll find it's a pretty comparable price point.
Yeah, I think it's that thing, isn't it? It is that personalised touch, and that the fact that everything is sorted for you. You're paying for that service element, aren't you, on top of everything else? So I suppose the argument is you get what you pay for.
Absolutely. And a lot of people say to us Disney fans, why do you go back to the same place over and over? Because you know what you're getting, you know what type of trip you have, and a lot of it is, you know, I liken it to being snuggled in a warm, comforting blanket going to Disney, because there's going to be no shocks and surprises. Well, maybe that blanket now isn't as warm and securing because the price points are no longer securing. They are shocking.
Yeah, it's I keep saying this, there's interesting times ahead, I think, for Disney as a whole and for the parks, particularly our American parks going forward. It's yeah, let's see what happens, eh?
But the good news is I reinstated my subscription to Disney Plus.
Why?
Well, those of you who know me really, really well know I'm a massive, massive Jilly Cooper fan. And as I was a much younger lady, I literally would read and reread the Rutger Chronicles, Polo, Rivals, the lot. I absolutely loved those books. They got me through many a cold, lonely night, and they were just like a little hug in a book, because I do like to reread books over and over again. And when I heard that there was a televised version of Rivals coming to Disney Plus, it just had to be done. I don't know if you've seen it, Jane?
I haven't. No, I must admit, I did read those books back in the late 80s? Are we talking?
80s and early 90s, yeah.
Yeah, kind of a bit of a rite of passage, I think, for ladies of our age. I think,
Absolutely.
So no, I haven't. We are still subscribed. We have the advert
Snap.
version of Disney Plus at the moment, which confuses me because a lot of the adverts aren't like adverts for products; they're adverts for Disney Plus that you're already watching.
I don't care because it gives me a chance to go to the loo without pausing things and without paying extra money per month.
Although, can I just say, we have this really weird problem. We have two TVs in our household, right?
Hmm.
We have one very new one, and that plays Disney Plus perfectly fine. Our older is still a flat screen, it's still relatively new, it's not mega old or anything. If we're playing Disney Plus, there's certain titles that tend to be, we get the star ones over here in the UK.
Hmm.
It won't play those. Or it'll go and hit the adverts and it will just sit there. You know, you get that little blue circle that spins at you.
Hmm.
It does that and nothing else.
Oh,
So
bizarre.
literally the other day we started to watch Agatha All Along, and we started to watch it and we waited and the blue circle was there and we had to go move rooms to go onto the newer TV to watch it. How sad is that?
Well, if you do get round to watching Rivals, we must
Mm.
talk, Jane, because there is so much I want to talk about this show about with you. And the language, and there is nudity as well,
I would
was
expect so.
was quite surprising to me. Some of the choice words and the fact you got to see full naked male nudity was quite a surprise for Disney
Oh,
Plus.
so all of a sudden Jane's interest in watching this program has increased.
Sadly, it wasn't David Tennant who was the
Oh.
one who was naked. Or literally, I'd be rewatching it for the 57th time. But yes, all I will say is they've cast the wrong person as Rupert Campbell Black. I'm just saying it.
Oh, okay.
But Danny Dyer stole the show as Fred.
Really?
He was fantastic. He literally, I would have run off with Fred. I'm sorry, Tom. I would have run off with Fred because he was just portrayed in such a sympathetic. Anyway, let's go back to the proper Disney stuff.
Yeah, Disney, yes.
Yeah. I saw a little bit of news, but I'm going to go into that in a moment because I have got some history, Jane.
Oh, okay.
I've got a little bit of history,
Right.
and on this day, 1977, Disney's Pete's Dragon was released in the United States. Now, when you look at the cast list, oh my word, Mickey Rooney, Red Buttons, Jeff Conaway.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my word, it's a who's who of classic people in the 70s who were famous actors and actresses.
Yeah.
And many people will absolutely, bring a tear to their eyes when they even think about Candle on the Water. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
wow.
classic film, and of course, obviously, it's that pioneering the element of mixing animation with real life stuff as well.
Yeah. On this day in 1998, Walt Disney World's Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger spin officially opened in the Magic Kingdom.
1998. Crikey, I didn't realise it'd been there that long, to be
I
fair.
know. It's staggering, isn't it, when you start thinking about it? 26 years, if I'm doing my maths right.
Yeah, it would be because my son Ethan turns 27 in a few weeks' time, and Toy Story was, yeah, his movie as a little one. Yeah.
Yeah, when you think about it, it is ready for something to be updated with, let's be honest. And also on this day in 1998, the Skyway at Tokyo Disneyland, which was an opening day attraction, 1983, closed.
Oh,
So quite
is
a
that?
short run for that, 15 years.
Yeah, I'm assuming that was probably the last of the Skyways to close then.
Probably so. I did allude earlier to some news. The Grammy Awards are moving from CBS televisation to Disney in a wowzer streaming deal. They've been
Okay.
on CBS for 54 consecutive years.
Wow, that's a long while.
That's a long time. And now they're going over to Disney beginning in 2027.
Oh, a couple of years then.
Got a couple more years.
I wonder how much Disney have paid for that then.
I would not like to begin to think about it.
Because then it comes back to how much they've paid for that. It might equate to how much we have to pay to get into the parks.
Yeah. Talking of getting into parks, it was quite interesting that this week saw the availability in Walt Disney World become available for the Lightning Lane Premier Pass, with the Magic Kingdom coming on available at $329 per person, Epcot at $169, Hollywood Studios $269, and Animal Kingdom at $129. I did catch a few very interesting conversations on social media saying, so if I buy this, I don't need a park ticket. No, you need your park ticket as well. All right, that's not so bad. Oh, but you do also need to stay in a Disney Deluxe hotel on top of everything else. And okay, so I've paid for it then. So my family can go on any attraction they want. No, this is price per person. And also on top of that, each person in your party needs this Lightning Premier Pass as well. So it'll be interesting to see, as we mentioned when we talked about it the other week, the impact it's going to have with regards to the VIP service. Because I'd just say, do you know what, if I've got this kind of cash to stash and throw around, I would probably have a shorter Disney experience.
Spend it differently.
Spend my money to go on all the big hitters with my VIP plaid person across the 4 parks. So you'd be hitting up all of those ones that are really difficult to get hold of, or you have to wait a long time. So you're talking about Flight of Passage, you're talking about Rise of Resistance, you're talking about Tron, you're talking about Tiana's, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, you're talking about Slinky Dog, you're talking about Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
You hit all of those off and you've got a group of 10 and you're all contributing. I can see Facebook groups now being formed to bring 10 people together to put together an itinerary.
Well, at the end of the day, with that VIP tour, if you want to, go across all 4 parks, or you just want to do 2 parks or whatever, you can do that. Well, obviously with the Premier Pass, that's only for 1 park, which obviously, as you mentioned, Shell, those price points for different parks. I don't know if you saw as well that apparently they are allowing you to change which park you want. So if you go ahead and pre-book your Premier Pass for argument's sake, let's say Magic Kingdom, and then you decide on the morning that you've booked for Magic Kingdom, actually you really want to go to Animal Kingdom instead, providing you've not used it, they are allowing you to change parks, which is very nice of them, isn't it?
Do I get my $200 back that I paid? That's the price difference between the two.
No refunds are being issued. However, if you were going to upgrade effectively from, say you decide to go to Animal Kingdom and you thought, oh no, I'll rethink about it, I actually fancy Magic Kingdom instead, are they going to charge you the difference between the two?
I'm guessing the answer's a big fat juicy yes.
They are indeed.
Interesting.
I say, we have to caveat this is in pilot phase, so it'll be interesting to see how these kinks in the system work their way out, shall we say. Because we all know what happened when the media got on there and commented on the price of the cakes at the bake shop. What happened there? So,
can I just say, you have mentioned the bake shop. Now, obviously, neither of us have been there.
Correct.
I have watched oodles of bloggage about it. And can I just say, I do not want to pay for glitter on my food, because the only benefit from having glitter on my food that I can see is that my poop will be sparkly. I don't want to have glitter on my salad, on my cake, or on... I've seen them sprinkling them on people's heads and making no, please. Cut back on the glitter, make me a cheaper cake, please.
Like I say, they've obviously got this little storyline, aren't they, that they're rolling with and trying to, kind of give you that sort of immersive experience. And I must admit, some of the things that I've seen food-wise, because they do more than just cakes,
Mm.
is, and like you, Michelle, I've watched numerous different reviews, and some of them, yes, I'll give them credit. They've turned around and said, I think it's a millionaire's cake. I don't think I've seen anyone give a bad review to that yet.
Mm.
Um, but likewise, when you watch them eating truffle fries, you think, well, they're just truffle fries. They're nothing. It's left me feeling very uninspired. So there's this real mix of highs and lows from what I can see. But obviously the prices, whilst they have reduced them, they are still on a little bit on the high side for the majority of us.
Shall I tell you my secret hack?
Go on.
Okay, so you're going to go
Hmm.
and you're going to get, there's a tea, which is like a lemonade tea.
Right.
And if you're eating in, it's refillable. So you can totally get 3 or 4 of them and one to go to get your money's
Yeah,
worth.
of
Then you
course.
get a croissant with European style butter, i.e. butter, and pixie jam without the glitter, please. That's about $7 with a
Mm,
croissant. That to
mm,
me sounds like it's probably one of the better deals you can get at that eatery, because the croissants are meant to be amazing. You get
mm.
to see the beautiful ambience, the atmosphere, the attentive service. You get to try some of the food. You still manage to, with tip, get in and out without $15. I think
Yeah.
that is a strategy. So, guys, let me know if you want to have a go and have the croissant with pixie jam, because I gather it's a good one.
Mm,
Talking of cakeage,
mm.
one of my very, very fondest memories was going to Steakhouse 55 at the Disneyland Hotel with my good friends Lena and Nan, and having afternoon tea over the Christmas period. It Whilst it wasn't afternoon tea as you and I would think,
Yeah.
it was amazing. We had
Yeah.
champagne, we had cute little sandwiches, we had a little cake, and for a moment, it was the most indulgent time ever without a theme park entrance even
Yeah.
needed. And when I saw that on the Disney Parks blogs that they'd announced something similar was going to be available, little Shelley got a little bit excited, thinking, I've got to do it. Sadly, I'm not going to be able to, but you guys might be able to, because holiday tea with Santa and Mrs. Claus at the Hearthstone Lounge is coming its way to the Disneyland Resort. Starting on the
Ooh.
3rd of December through to the 24th, you'll be able to join Santa and Mrs. Claus for a tea party. And good old Mrs. Claus has been in the kitchen and cooked up a storm with sandwiches shaped like Christmas trees. Oh, so cute. There's a beautiful candy cane of soft cheese and tomato. It looks amazing. A caprese salad, shrimp salad. There's a truffled egg and sandwich. There's
Ooh.
scones. There's different layers to the tea you can have. You can have it with champagne. You can have it with tea. And I'm just like, oh my word. 31st of October, today's date as recording, you can book that. And I bet that goes availability wise like that, which is a shame because I
Mm.
could technically, because I land in California on the
Oh,
24th,
24th,
if I could
yes.
get to the airport, from the airport to Anaheim for maybe 5 o'clock, if anyone wants to take me, I'd be very happy to. There's also
Mm.
some things happening over at the Storytellers Cafe, where Mickey's Holiday Pyjama Party, breakfast and brunch, running all the way to the 1st of
Oh.
January from November 19th, and lots of beautiful themed food and cute outfits. And then there's a Storytellers Cafe holiday dinner as well. But the bit that got me really excited was the
Mm.
prospect of them utilising this afternoon tea. I'd like to see that coming back and being,
Yeah.
because it's never come back from when Steakhouse 55 closed. That to me is a positive step forward, because I know the number of people who didn't just do one, they did every single theme they did through the year. So they did Easter, they did spring, they did summer, they did Halloween, they did Christmas. So many themes.
So maybe this is the start of it, isn't it?
Yeah, and you could theme it around princesses with villains. Very excited for that, Jane. Makes me very, very giddy.
Well, let's hope this is like the testing ground. If this goes down well in this location, perhaps this is something to look forward to. So go out there, people, and do it. So then we know that there's a greater chance of them doing other ones throughout the year.
And maybe the powers that be will hear and bring back the afternoon teas at the Grand Floridian, because again, that's never come back.
But of course, what they need to do, Michelle, is when they do these afternoon teas in the Grand Flow, and it's got to be, quintessential, very British, very plum in mouth version of a British afternoon tea. They need to employ 2 British ladies who can go out there and personally advise as to what is and is not part of an afternoon tea. Do you not think?
Absolutely. Disney, I'm available all summer holidays. I will come over. I will help you put together the proper menu. I will even teach your chefs how to make proper English scones. And
yes.
I'm not just talking about your bog standard fruit scones. I'm talking about things like rhubarb and pear and a little bit of ginger, date and walnut. Let's zhuzh it up a little bit. We are the people for you. Jane can talk keto to them, and I can talk indulgent English tea.
Between us, and we will get the trifle right. That's the most important part, Michelle.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what I mean? If they're going to do it, we're going to do it proper.
Yeah, none of this slop in a cup. We want proper trifle.
Yeah.
And we're not doing the version that Rachel did on Friends. Just saying.
No.
There'll be no minced beef. Anyway, before we get completely off track, one of the things that one of our listeners is very excited about is that their upcoming trip is going to tie in with none other than Josh Gad being the narrator at Candlelight.
Oh, how wonderful.
I know.
What good fortune.
I was so excited when the lovely Anthony messaged me and said, I have got a dining package which includes being able to see Josh Gad for the middle show, and then I can hop on over on the monorail to the Magic Kingdom and finish the night with a listening and enjoyment of Happily Ever After.
Perfect.
And I was like, I've got to have a look at these prices. I want to see what they are, because he was telling me what he had booked, which was Le Crêperie de Paris, which I have now eaten at. And it's $53 for that package, where you will get a main, a dessert, and a beverage.
Right.
And I didn't think that was too bad, but when I started digging into some of the prices, I actually was quite surprised that Disney aren't able to make a profit on these, when you consider that by the time you've had your sort of payment for the restaurant, you'd expect Disney to be getting about $15 to $20 for the seat that you're going to get at the Candlelight Processional, because I imagine Josh Gad is going to be queued out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and you would expect with these sorts of things, I know we would always look at these and try and make sure that we're getting the best bang for our buck, but there is an element you do expect there to be, a markup of some description.
Yeah.
Because you are paying for an additional service at the end of the day, aren't you?
And I was very fortunate. I literally got there and was able to walk in to see Gloria Estefan. The only reason I was able to do that, it was torrentially raining and
yes.
I was soaked through. Okay?
Bless you.
So maybe if you are going at this time of the year, you might want to look at some of these and think and consider, would this make worthwhile sense to me? And I'm going to tell you now which ones I think are going to be worthwhile and which one are probably better.
Okay.
So Beer Garden, unless you really like the food there, I would possibly say no.
Yeah, that's
because I think at $71 it's a bit high. Chef de France is quite interesting because it's priced up at $66. So I had a little look-see at the menu, and you get an entree, a dessert, and if you're over 21, you get an alcoholic beverage. Now, this is quite clever of Disney because on the whole, desserts are cheaper than your entrees, your appetizers.
Yes, yeah.
But if you go for the steak frites, entrecôte grill, pommes frites and sauce béarnaise at $49.95, and then for your dessert you get the opera gâteau at $14.95, and then your beverage is going to be the most expensive alcohol drink you can get, and I think I got it down to being a glass of wine for $14.25. It actually works out at $69.15, whereas the package is $66.
That's interesting. Because, I mean, when you said there, Biergarten, I appreciate Biergarten's a buffet, so slightly different.
Yeah.
But it was quite surprising to see that Chef de France, in my head, is a quote-unquote posher establishment, and therefore you'd expect a price tag to match type of thing in relation to other places, yeah.
Now, there's 3 places, if I believe correctly, that are over the $100 mark. There's Teppan Edo, and I think if you are going to Teppan Edo on this package, you want your head checking because it's $105. And I don't see any value. I have priced it up, and the most I can get it to is about $76.
I mean, wonderful restaurant. I had a fab time eating there, but
$105?
Not that much, no.
If you want to eat at Teppan Edo, yeah, fine. Go a different day, and then you just go and get your main. Sorted.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Interestingly enough, another one that's over $100 is Le Cellier.
Okay, yeah.
You know how much I hate Le Cellier because it's like eating in a dark, dank cave with the person on the next table literally sat on your knee.
It's like somebody's forgot to put money in the meter. Yeah. That's a very British thing to say. I do apologise for American listeners for that.
But they have 2 steaks on their menu that are $62.
Okay, well, that's taking a big chunk out of that money, isn't it?
Absolutely. And then you can think, well, I've got my $62, then I've got to have a dessert. So they have a boutique collection of artisanal chocolates, almond cookies and macarons for $16. And then you can quite easily find a glass of wine for about $16. That comes up to $107. The package for Le Cellier is $104.
So that's not bad going then, really, isn't it? Again, it does come down to if you're going to do these things, if you're going to go for the cheapest main on the menu, perhaps not a good idea. But if you're going to look at what you're getting and make sure you take advantage, then that's not bad going.
Yeah. So then I thought, well, those are the $100 marks. What about the cheapest one? And the cheapest one is Regal Eagle Smokehouse. And that is for same-day dining packages only. So with this one, you're running the risk of getting there and being told they're all sold out for the day.
Yes, quite, yeah.
But it's $41.
Okay.
And for $41, you will get a main and a dessert and a non-alcoholic beverage.
Right.
I actually worked that out by getting the most expensive main and the banana pudding, which I don't recommend anybody gets the banana pudding from there. It worked out at $38.49. Bear in mind, with that one, you don't have any tip on top of it because all of the other places you're going to have to leave a tip.
Very true. So if you could get a same day, it's not that far off, is it?
It's not, no. And it was quite interesting, as I say, just doing a little bit of maths. And then the last one that sort of came to my mind was Spice Road Table. And you get 2 small plates, a shared tagine, a shared dessert platter, and either a non-alcoholic or alcoholic beverage. We had quite an interesting debate, Janie, off air, didn't we, my love?
Well, yeah, because they say a shared platter, that's presuming then that there's got to be more than one of you. What happens if you're just dining on your own? Do they give you half a shared platter?
Do they get a macaron and cut it in half?
Yeah. That's an interesting one, isn't it?
So the tagine comes in at $13. You could get the spicy shrimp at $14, the Spice Road sampler at $15. Then you can get a drink. It came out, to my maths, at $70. Now, $70, when you think in comparison to how much you would be paying at Spice Road Table for the package at 61, that's quite a good way around it. But again, would you necessarily eat all that food? And if you are only sharing the dessert platter, I don't like sharing dessert platters.
Well, it depends how the dessert platter is done. Because to me, if it's a sharing, then you have small to hit bites, and there's enough for however many of you that are there to be sharing. Surely, I don't know.
It gets me back to going to Akashu's once, and they put between Tom and I a rectangular plate of 3 desserts, and I have this weird thing is. It's that double dipping, isn't it? Like if you've put that taco in your mouth and just sort of eaten the filling that was on the taco, and then you're going to dip it back in, all of that cross-contamination, even with a loved one, is a bit, and you're doing the same with the spoon on the dessert that you'd have to get a ruler and cut it down the middle to make sure each one has an equal size, or whether you've got a little portable weighing scale and you measure it out exactly to the grain of rice. Who's got the biggest portion on the sharing platter?
Well, yeah, and we all know that if there's 3 and you do decide that, oh, well, I'll have that one, and your other person goes, well, I'll have that one, there's still 1 left.
Right.
I mean, that's, my maths ain't great, but I do know that 2 into 3 don't go.
No. So it's all very interesting. And I suppose the short answer is look at the places that are on offer and think, right, it's not going to be Beer Garden because no. It's not going to be Nine Dragons because who would seriously pay $65? You're not. You're not going to do Tepanedo for $105, which is staggeringly expensive. But if you are wanting a day where you want to go for a really nice late lunch at somewhere like Le Cellier to have that experience, or perhaps you want to go to Spice Road Table, you price it out. Get the most expensive thing on the menu, just even then, so you can hit it to Disney. You can get value on these plans. You really can. And the fact that you get a seat for the candlelight is amazing, because out of everything I have seen in the Christmas period at Walt Disney World, I think the candlelight experience, excusing the fact that I was so cold and wet, was the most Christmassy, the most sensational, closely seconded by Meeting Santa.
Yeah, and as we said the other week, the list of guests this year seems, to us Brits anyway, a much better selection than they had last year. So there may be more on there for people to be interested in going to. But I think it is that element of, if you're lucky enough to be going that time of year, and then you're lucky enough that somebody is there that you're really keen to see, like a Neil Patrick Harris or a Josh Gad, then have a look at these and just see whether or not something floats your boat because it's a food that you would like to try, and then just see how close you can get to that price. And like say, like with Spice Road Table, if you're getting that under the price effectively, then go for it.
And if you are going to the theme parks this Christmas, let us know some of your top tips or ask us some questions. I have alluded to being in California. I will be in California from Christmas Eve, and back flying home on the 4th of January, although I won't actually be setting foot in Disneyland. Boo-hoo, cry, cry.
Boo-hoo, yeah. But you're going on a cruise, you'll be all right.
I'm going on a cruise, and I did buy a most sensational frock yesterday, which was an utter bargain for £17, Jane. Reduced from something ridiculous like 100 and something.
Bargain.
And I'm just going to have so much glitter on me, people are going to think I'm a Christmas tree. And the good thing about wearable glitter, like on a dress, it doesn't come out in your poop.
No, you just get covered in it.
Well, it's sequins rather than glitter, so I think I'll be safe. Anyway, far too much bowel talk this week. Apologies for that. Go get yourself a GBL now that they're available. Totally decadent and delicious. Bye bye pumpkin spice. And yes, I think we will put a pin on this week's podcast. We would like to thank our wonderful Patreon support for their support in producing this week's Disney Dream Girls. Why not leave us a rating and review over on your listening platform, and we will be forever in your debt. If you would like to support the show, it's patreon.com/Disney Dream Girls. And to find out a little bit more about what we're up to, at Diz Dream Girls on Instagram. If you are one of our lovely Patreons and managed to get this show earlier, and you happen to be in the Sheffield area, Jane and I will be popping on by and actually meeting in the public flesh type arena and saying howdy doody to each other.
We will indeed.
So exciting. We will brave through the fact our cabaret venue has closed and we are not able to get to cabaret anymore.
We need new plans, definitely, Michelle.
We do.
Yeah.
Anyway, lovelies, thank you ever so much for listening in. We do really appreciate each and every one of you for listening in to our little old ramble about Disney. But until next time, it's a goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.